اسمي Jessica. أنا مدرسة. I'm 29 years old and I've been in Saudi Arabia for a year. I came for work. I had no idea about the country and I just wanted to, experiment a new part of the world because I did experiment and went to other countries before, but Middle East I had no idea, and my family talked a little bit about it, so I was like, why not? Let's try a new experience. I started with my studies in Korea in international relations, so I did my first master degree there. Because I wanted to work in diplomacy, I wanted to be a bridge between the cultures, but since the studies were quite expensive, I had to work part-time, and I found this job as a teacher, but for really little kids, Korean kids, and I started working as a teacher for them, and I discovered that actually I was really good at it, and that I really liked it. I really thought, oh, okay, actually this is also another way for me to spread my culture, So it was really interesting for me to live this, and also because I had some experience in the embassies, I was like, okay, I think I need to go back to France, maybe do another master degree to teach and be fully ready, and then yes, this is how I kind of became a teacher because of passion, basically, like not from the beginning, but through the experiences, through life, which were really like beautiful experiences that brought me right here. So I love it. I had no expectations at all. I had no idea about the country nor the culture, and especially not Alula. To be honest, when I first had my interview online for the job I applied for, I was not prepared at all because I had other opportunities, and then I discovered when I talked to the interviewee how nice the whole entire project here was. So I was happy that I could be part of something new and start from scratches. When I first arrived in Saudi Arabia, first people, I was expecting maybe people to be a bit, how can I say, not so open or something. I had, of course, a lot of stereotypes and misconceptions, but I felt like people were actually really open and really curious about me and where I was from. My experience in Saudi Arabia has been amazing, like really, because I learned a lot about myself, and especially about the country and the people, because as I said, I had a lot of misconceptions, and I was really ignorant about many things, especially like the religion, for example. So I'm really glad I'm here, and that I might be able to change people's mind about Saudi. Everyone is asking me this question, how to adapt into a country. I think you just need to start with low expectations and to want to be surprised all the time and have an open mind, because if you come with like a closed mind, you will not be able to do anything, to adapt, and just you need to be flexible, to love people, and to, I think in my case, to love culture shocks or have challenges, and I love what is different. I think that's why I can handle a little bit more and adapt faster, I guess, in a country. But also the language will be the key, I think, to get to a culture. And then when you get to the culture and the people, that's how you adapt. That's when you adapt. I did travel a bit in Saudi Arabia. I did go to Riyadh. I went to Dammam and not yet to Jeddah, unfortunately. And I went to Tabuk. So I don't know if it's called traveling or not, but I especially enjoyed the Al-Waj and the sea. When I went to Riyadh, the only historical place I could visit was Fort Masmak, I think. But in Alula, of course, you know, I went to all the sites, Hegra and Jabal Ikmar and Dadan. I think Dadan is my favorite site for the history, and I don't know, like the little workshops that they are, and the fact that the archaeologists are still working on many things in Saudi. Since I've been here for a year, I see how many changes happened in Alula and how many tourists are coming. So sometimes I feel like when I go to a place, you know, that I go every day to, like Al Jadida, Circolo, or like a touristy place, like a new exposition, for example, I feel like people take me as a tourist and they tell me welcome, which is of course appreciated, but I answer them in Arabic shوية, like a little bit, and they're like, oh, you speak Arabic? I'm like, yes, I've been here for a year, so I'm not considered, I think, as a tourist anymore, but I do enjoy, because you have the season, and then of course you have a lot of tourists at that time, but then I prefer and I enjoy more the low season, because then the life is, I think, in my opinion, more authentic. Alula is way more quiet, peaceful and relaxing than when the tourists are there. It took me a long time, honestly, to make friends here, because I had a lot of work, and I felt like it was difficult to connect sometimes with the locals from Alula, because I couldn't speak Arabic, so my bad. It took me time to learn Arabic and to connect with locals. But now I have friends from anywhere in the world, and local Saudis, mostly, that also speak a bit of English and traveled around, and we do a lot of activities together, and thanks God they're here. So we go hiking, and they are very generous and really friendly, and they are always happy to travel, like with me, on small trips. So I really enjoy their company. And I can say I chose them and they chose me, so yes, it's beautiful. So a typical day in Alula, it starts pretty late compared to France, because in France we usually start at 8 a.m. we are at work already. Here I start work a bit later because I finish later. So when I can finish earlier, I love to go out with my friends, even during the week, if I'm not too tired, obviously. But yes, just work and then maybe go to the restaurant during the week. But mostly the weekends are my favorite. As I told you, Khamis Al-Wanis is the best. So yes, thanks God it's Thursday here. I love to go out on Thursday night to go to the restaurant, and then the next day usually I go for brunch or I go hiking very early in the morning. That's what I love to do with my friends. And I love how everything is unplanned. Like I'm someone from France who is a control freak and I like to plan everything. But since I'm here, I've been so flexible and all my plans on the weekends are happening suddenly to me. So yes, except from work, in the weekend I don't plan and many things are happening, so that's great. My hobbies are very simple and not very original. I like, of course, to read a little bit, like romantic novels, or fantastic novels, something that makes me escape the reality, kinda. I enjoy the most learning languages. So, of course, I couldn't learn Arabic as much as I wanted. But that's one thing that I enjoy. Meeting people, yes, just connecting with people is also what I enjoy the most here and anywhere in the world, because when you connect with people, you learn so much more than actually in a book also. The places that I enjoy the most in Alula are in the oasis. I think, for example, when I go to a brunch in Pink Camel, I think that's one of the best views on the mountains and the orange mountains and the blue sky. And one of my favorite places to go and relax, for example, read a book, is also in the oasis. It's where you have the swings in the palm area, the palm trees. This is one of my favorite places to go. There has been so many exhibitions. The one I remember from last year was mostly Desert X. That's the one that comes every year. I think that is the most famous. I found it amazing that you could just go and explore the desert, but with beautiful art pieces like this. It was mesmerizing. I remember that art piece that was like a mirage, I think, like an illusion in the desert. That was amazing. They bring people and artists from all over the world, but they also have their own people who are very creative and who travel and who are curious about the world and make beautiful things too. So I was amazed to discover more about Saudi art. Of course, about music, there is so many things happening. Definitely, I attended many events, especially recently. Last week, I was at 2 concerts. One was organized by the French, and it was amazing. They brought a lot of artists, international artists. And then I went to watch the concert of Seal, which I did not have any expectations, but it happened to be amazing. But before that, I also went to a very interesting festival. It was the first time I went to a festival in my entire life, yes. And it was called Azimuth, and I was not expecting loud music in the middle of the desert and everyone wearing whatever, being crazy with glitters and dancing around. I felt like, wow, this is Saudi, like, wow. I was very impressed, so yes. The similarities between French culture and Saudi culture. I would say there is not many similarities, and that's what I like mostly, because French people are very individualistic, and in the contrary, Saudi people are very they like the community. They like to help each other. I feel like women to women, we are the same, no matter what we wear and no matter our culture. I feel like we are still the same, even though actually our cultures are so different. When we meet, it's just like we're normal. I don't know how to say it, just fluent with each other. So I think we are just similar in that point. I cook for myself most of the time. I was used to mostly like Asian cuisine and Italian cuisine, French cuisine. So I love the mandi, the kapsa. I would definitely recommend the kapsa because, of course, for the taste, the spices and everything, but mostly for the conviviality, like how a family and friends can gather around it. I found it beautiful. Like we have a similar dish in France that we can share like this. It reminds me a lot of it. I remember when I first came, we were talking about Arabic coffee, and then most of my students were correcting me saying, no, it's not Arabic coffee, it's Saudi coffee. So I found it very cute, and I was like, okay. And of course that was the first thing with the dates that I tried when I was in the plane, even coming here. And I was not a big fan of dates, but I tried the dates here and I was like, wow. And then they gave me the coffee with it and I was really surprised. I was like, are you sure this is coffee? Because of course it was my first time and I did not know how it was made. So I was really surprised. I felt like it was half coffee, half tea, but I really enjoy the spices, it's really delicious. What I would miss the most? Well, the weather. I love the weather, the warmth. It's not what I expected. I thought it would be so hot that I would die and I would melt on the ground. The mountains, like this view from my house is the best thing that makes me wake up in the morning. And my friends here, I made incredible friends, and as in any country I've been to, I think they will be my friends for life. And of course, my work, if I had to go, I would miss my work and the students, really. I am so grateful that I have such motivated and intelligent students. So yes, I would miss many things. Saudi hospitality is the thing I admire the most about the culture here, about the people, because I feel like this is something that is also a bit missing in my culture. Like I lived in Asia for a long time, and hospitality was something very important, and I missed it when I came back to France. So of course, here it's amazing how people don't know you and they will invite you to your house suddenly in the street, and they will prepare an entire kapsa full of rice and meat, and yes, welcome you like you are their family, even though you are nobody. I mean, the one that touched me the deepest was last year in Ramadan. I was invited by female students, and we had the entire night dancing, eating, and then we did some henna as well. Everyone was so welcoming and they treated me like their family, like the mother, of course, of that student in particular, treated me like I was her daughter. And I was really touched by that gesture, even though, I have no idea about the culture, about the language, and they don't know me, and they welcomed me like I was their family. So I think that's one of my best experience if I look back at it. À mes amis et à ma famille, Déjà, vous me manquez tous beaucoup. Mais vraiment, il faut venir en Arabie parce que, comme j'essaye de toujours vous le dire, il faut changer les stéréotypes et les conceptions qu'on a sur ce pays parce que c'est un très beau pays, les gens sont très intelligents, créatifs, curieux. La nature est magnifique, c'est encore un pays authentique qui a beaucoup de potentiel. Donc je vous attends.